Active Investor here, bringing you another independent analysis. This time we're taking a look at ticker symbol HRZN. That's Horizon Technology Finance. The chart we're looking at today is a one-day chart. Each candlestick on this chart representing 1 day of trading, and this was a request from Snow King 7. So shout out to Snow King 7 on Reddit. Hope you enjoy this analysis. Let's get right to the technicals. So you did mention that you were worried that they may not be able to keep up with their dividend in the long term. And I can kind of see why you're thinking that. So you can see the start of this chart was actually right around a year ago. Pretty much a year ago. We've been downtrending for quite a while. Now, we did have some good swings back where we made some higher lows. But we couldn't really hold those levels. Sold off again, made some lower lows. Once again, rose again, higher lows. And then it was basically just kind of channeling here. And it didn't really make much progress. It hasn't made much progress for quite a while, actually. Now, I'm kind of curious to see what it was doing at the start of this year when the overall market's kind of tanked. So I'm going to draw a line right on January 4th. Just right around when the market started trading again and the start of the new year. So you can see that it was making some pretty good progress, actually. September, October, November, it was making some nice gains. Had a little bit of pullback, healthy. November, it was making some really nice gains there, all the way into December. And then it kind of sold off a bit in December, but pushed back up. Then the start of the new year happened, and as you guys know, the markets went down a lot in January and February. And it looks like HRZN definitely followed along with that, made that low of $9.01, and kind of came back around barely and just kind of pushed up slowly. So it's unfortunate because before that happened, we were trading right around here at the top of this channel. So since we're looking at the channels, let's mention the pivot points. We have $14 at the top, and that's really the top of this gap up where the downtrend really started. We had some pretty tough falling down here without much upside, so that's why we have a pretty large gap to fill. Then we have $12.30 at the top of this channel, $12.15 at the bottom of that channel. So a really tight channel there, and if we can break that channel, we can gap up to 14 again. But on the downside, we are looking at we're looking at 11.75 and then 11.15. So 12.30, 12.15, 11.75, 11.15. Those are our pivot points. Now back to what we were looking at. We had that low of 901, made some higher lows, pushed back, and that's where we really started this channel. So we were stuck in this channel between 11.15 and 11.75 for quite a while, just kind of dancing along it, and then we did break it to the upside recently. Fairly recently, about a month ago or so. Did try to push at 12.15, but we couldn't break into this channel between 12.15 and 12.30, that really tight channel. Got denied and bounced off 11.75, tested 12.15 again, couldn't break it, and then we had some kind of nasty candles right here. So we're back down below 11.75, currently trading at 11.60. Now, that could definitely have to do with the Brexit and the overall decrease in the markets. So those last two candles, could be because of the Brexit. We were testing the top of this channel, which wasn't looking too bad, but now, once again, we're kind of looking not so great, which is unfortunate because we were almost overbought. When we are overbought, that's when we can kind of see some a little bit of a run or some buying pressure and that sort of thing. For example, right here. Make that line a little bit thicker. See, when we were overbought here, that's when we saw some nice gains. So, it wasn't looking that bad. We were at the top of this channel. We were at the top of this channel right here. And we were almost overbought on the RSI. But then the Brexit happened, and then it just kind of messed everything up. We went oversold. That's when we can see the price tank. And then we broke down this channel to the downside, unfortunately. So it wasn't looking too bad, but now it's not looking great. At the same time, we are still overall making some higher lows where we're currently trading. So we could see a reversal. What we're going to want to see is a break of 11.75, and then that way we can test 12.15 again. And then we really want to get in this tight channel between 12.15 and 12.30. And if we can break 12.30, that's when we have a really good shot of gapping up all the way to 14. Now, there is probably some light resistance right around the $12.60 area, so keep that in mind. Some light resistance there, but it's definitely not hard resistance. If we can break that, it should be smooth sailing to 14. So 12.30 breaks, we might have some resistance around 12.50, 12.60, and then it should be smooth sailing to 14 if we can break that bullishly. Now, getting back to what you mentioned about the dividend, I could see why you are suggesting that. I mean, obviously the price has been stuck on the stock down here. On a technical level, the trend has been pretty down all year. But on a fundamental level, I can also see why you're saying that. Dividend has been increasing nicely. In 2013 to 2014, they paid out almost $700,000 in that dividend payment. And 2014 to 2015, they paid out, well, let me just be sure the stat is correct. I'm sorry, yeah, they paid out an extra, let's see. Looks like an extra $1.8 million in dividend payments this year. Now, they're cash flow negative on 2015 as well. So they did increase the dividend while becoming cash flow negative on the operating activities, which is not good. However, they are not entirely cash flow negative due to the financing activities that they received. Those financing activities are the net borrowings I'm looking at on the cash flow statement, and also the purchase/sale purchase of stock, rather. So it's interesting because it looks like they diluted a little bit. You know, they issued some new stocks, sold some stock off, and raised $250,000 from that. And then they paid out some extra dividends. So you don't see that too often, where they will dilute their shareholders and they'll increase their dividends. It's kind of a rare situation there. But, you know, that's kind of good for shareholders. It's better than just being diluted and not getting dividends. So it's like, yes, we're diluting you a little bit, but at the same time, we're going to be paying you back some money. So what I'm getting at is you might see that continue until they can really boost their operating activity income. You might see that they will continue to dilute a little bit in order to continue with that raising dividend. So it looks like they really want to keep paying that dividend in the long term. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to look into any more fundamentals than that brief overview that I just did. But, I mean, I could see them continue that dividend just because it kind of seems like what they're really trying to go for. But I'm sure you know more about this company fundamentally than I do. So just take my fundamental analysis real brief there with a grain of salt. Like I said, I'm just looking into it right now. I'm not really going deep into the fundamentals, just looking at the cash flow statement, the annual cash flow statement. So that's what it looks like to me. I hope this analysis helped you out. If you have any questions, feel free to message me either on YouTube or Reddit, and I will get right back to you. But in the meantime, I hope this helped you out. And anyone else watching, I hope you enjoyed this as well. And I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one.